Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Welcome to New Life Live. Really glad that you're here with us on New Life. You could watch us right now, right there on the YouTube channel. We would love for you to do that. Joining me today, Dr. Alice Benton and Dr. Jill Hubbard. Hi, guys.
Hi, folks.
Hi, you guys.
I think that people ought to know what we were talking about before we went on the air. We were talking about what we say to people, that we care, that we want it to be helpful. We're evaluating what we do say. I just want you to know we don't think we know everything, and we're just saying, hey, they just have to live with the advice we gave them. We really do try to do our best to help somebody.
Yeah, we kind of debrief a lot, don't we?
We do.
We do.
To make sure we're giving the best advice.
We were talking about how much you folks mean to us and how deeply we want to help you and give you good answers, and we pray for you before and after the show. You're really dear to our hearts, you listeners.
You are. So glad that you're with us here. And if you want to join us, 1-800-229-3000, that is the number. I want to mention that we've gotten about $13,000 from the Smile program on Amazon. You go to Amazon and you click on their little smile thing, and then whenever you buy something, they give a portion of your retail price to us or whomever you would identify as the charity of your choice. And so
thanks for that reminder, Steve. I've got to make sure my daughter's doing that because she's been shopping up a storm, so on Amazon.
It's weird. I don't ever refer to us as a charity. I mean, it's just, I think of charity, I think of, I don't know what I think of. But anyway, we're a ministry, and we're a ministry committed to transformation, and you could help us with that simply by doing that. Also, when you get the New Life app, you can download anything, articles we've written, videos, broadcasts, it's just all right there, and you can walk around with it on your phone. And I just hope and pray that you will. A lot of people love tuning in whenever they want to. You're not stuck with whatever time your local station has or Sirius XM has. All right, so we're coming on Christmas here next week, and I want to talk a little bit, or for 2 seconds, guys. What do you suggest right now that the single person does who doesn't think there's a place for them with family members on Christmas? What do you think they ought to start doing right now today to get ready for that day?
Well, I think you have to plan. When you're single, when you live alone, you can't necessarily wait for people to reach out to you, because people that aren't hungry don't realize that other people are. So if you're the one that's hungry, you have to be the one to reach out. And I know so many single people who, create family amongst friends when they don't have a family, or a family that's near, or one that, is sane enough to be with. They create family amongst friends. And I know it's extra difficult this year, but it's not impossible. You find, a couple other people. If you have to, you get tested, right? So you can be in each other's bubble. And you don't sit home alone.
And give a little of what you want to receive back. God built that into the universe. It works. We reap what we sow. So reach out to other people if you're lonely, and you'll receive back from doing that.
Yeah.
Well, I like the testing thing. Have them be sure they're tested for COVID, and test them for mental, emotional intelligence, and so that you won't have somebody being a big baby over Christmas dinner. Well, that's not possible, but it should be. We could do that. Okay, you're a certified quality Christmas dinner guest. We'll be back right after this.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help or or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
Every Man's Battle, I fought it the whole week with my wife. Within 2 hours, you could have opened a book. It showed me where my life has been ever since I was a little boy.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, January 9th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
He said, this may have saved my life.
Every Man's Battle was a life-changing experience for me and a marriage-saving experience for me.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Well, we're back. Steve Arterburn here. Let's go to Teresa. She'll be our first caller today, 1-800-229-3000, calling from Philadelphia. And Teresa, how are you today? What's going on?
I'm not doing great at all. Thank you for taking my call. I listen to your show every day.
Oh, thanks,
And
Teresa.
I really love you guys. I mean, I have your one book, How to Love, How We Love, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
But, okay, I have, I'm living with my fiancé, which is I was married once. And a little bit of background, I don't know if I should say it it's not on the air, it's on YouTube, right?
Oh, it's on the air.
It's
It's
on the
everywhere.
air.
So, yeah, the closer you can be to honest and open, the better it's going to go for everybody.
Okay. I have PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
I've had I had a stroke 11 years ago. My fiance just recently in July had a heart attack, and we just got into the hospital in time. Anyway, he's got ADHD or ADD.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which one.
Either.
Okay, and I have found, and I was in a situation where I had sold my house where I lived because I was divorced from my husband for a long time, trying to get all this in real quick. And so I ended up back at my mother's, which is not a good thing. My mother is, but I lived with her for 5 years.
Okay.
And Mitchell calls me out of nowhere. Oh my God, I said his name.
Okay.
The
guy.
You can tell the guy calls me out of nowhere. I know him from when we were a little young. Anyway, he's been. I realize now, living with him only a year and a half, how he's a Christian and he feels he's an adult in Christianity. He's what's the word? That's another thing. I can't articulate everything I need to say.
A mature believer?
Right, mature is the word I was looking for. And I've become, I've always believed in Jesus Christ, but...
Okay, we're going to have to get to how we could help you pretty quickly, okay? So.
Okay, sorry, very quickly.
Yeah.
I feel like he feels that he is, he invited me to live here. I did say yes to his engagement because as friends, as 40 years ago, I knew him. A lot of things have happened between 40 years and now. And he's an angry person.
Okay.
I feel like he acts like a Christian.
Okay.
And I don't know what to do because it's putting me back into PTSD. I'm at the point where I need help.
Now,
And I don't know what to do.
And Teresa,
right.
you're feeling trapped with him and dependent on him, aren't you?
Yes. And I could never go back to my mother's.
It's not an option?
And we have COVID. No. My sister's moved into my bedroom.
Okay, so here's a quick question
They're-
for you.
they're-
Now, you moved in with him, what, 4 years ago, did you
Year
say?
and a half.
Year and a half ago.
No, a year and a half.
Okay. And is this an intimate relationship here that we've
Yes,
got going?
it is. And
Okay.
Yes. And
So
did I tell you I was stalked?
He's a mature...
No.
No? Okay.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
So
Go on. I'm
he's
sorry.
saying I'm a
Yes.
mature guy, a mature Christian, but you guys are living together.
Right. And I'm wondering when we watch all our shows that why aren't we pulling out the Bible and doing this together? Because I got into
okay.
And Teresa,
All right,
are you
I'm
wanting
sorry.
to leave and even it sounds like maybe end the relationship, but you have nowhere to go?
I think that might be I can't communicate with him. He calls whatever I do is a bunch of minutia. He's alienated my whole family.
Doesn't
not
sound like somebody you would want to be living with or somebody you would want to be putting your faith on hold to have a relationship with. Doesn't
Yeah.
sound good at all to us.
Well, and being alienated from your family. Is your family supportive of you, Teresa? Like, can you talk to them? Or who
They
can
are,
you?
But there's not really. I speak to a good friend of mine who.
Okay.
But
Because
she's
I
the
thi-
only person I can talk to.
Okay. Well, I think
ahead.
you need to reach out to whoever you feel like you can talk to, and you're reaching out to us, right? But I think
Right.
you need to have someone help you look at your options because you're feeling trapped, right? You're telling me
Right,
that
right.
your mom's house is not an option. I wonder, though, if they knew how you felt, if an option might become
Oh, no,
available.
They're not at all supportive.
Oh, okay.
It's not.
Okay.
They're not. My family is not where I can go to. But
Okay,
yeah,
so
I
here's
want to-
here's what you're saying. I got myself in a situation. I'm living with a guy. I still call him my fiancé. I don't want to be married to this guy. He is angry. He's all sorts of things, but I don't have any place to go. I am stuck, which is what happens, of course, when people move in together, and I really feel for you. So Alice, what is the first step that she could take out of this trap that she's in? And I want to help her here.
Teresa, I think first you have to declare and believe that God always makes a way out for us if we allow him to. But then you also have to act on that belief. And it may involve being connected to a church and talking with a pastor. A lot of churches have community resources where they're able to help you strategize through this and then link you up with some of the next steps that you're going to need. But it's taking that small step of faith in addition to calling us, calling someone local to you, a pastor local to you, to ask for the help that you need.
And that really requires a great deal of humility and
Yes, which is fine. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm absolutely okay with that. I am absolutely okay with that. I think too that I've been accused of not being able to talk, and you know what? To tell you the truth, I am not able to. Oh my God! Express myself.
Mm-hmm.
Teresa, you do
Okay,
struggle.
but-
Teresa, you do struggle with it, but you do get the point across.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot.
And as you reach out
There was
to someone
someone-
else like a pastor, they can help you just like we are, where we're asking questions to draw you out and try to get to your need. The body can come around you like this and help you move forward. Even though you feel so inadequate to the task, that is the perfect space that God fits into lockstep to help us if we'll act on it.
Okay. I heard you talking to another person who how to have a different conversation, a difficult conversation. would that help me in
No.
trying to sustain here? No.
No. Because
Well-
what you need is an option.
How about with other people?
Well, if you
Expressing myself.
Well,
Here's-
sure, you
here's-
can practice expressing yourself. Sorry, Steve.
Yeah.
But you need to take some action steps. You know, you talk about him being a mature Christian. You guys are living together. Right off the bat, that isn't a mature situation, right?
Correct.
You need a
Right.
different
Correct.
living situation,
Right.
right?
Right.
yeah.
That's
So-
Right.
that's the
Marriage.
next first
I know
step.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
Right.
so there are a lot of things that would benefit all of us, but the people that do well or start to do well, they start taking care of priorities and they let everything else be on hold a little bit till we get the main thing taken care of. You need to find another place to live.
That's your first order of business.
If you when people move in together, they end up being trapped. It just happens. And so if you were to marry him, you wouldn't be choosing to marry him. You'd be sliding into marriage because it's
Right. Which
so.
I'm right.
But you might not be
agree.
wanting to marry him, but you're still referring to him as your fiance. So again, the number one thing that you need to do is take care of the priority of finding an option, finding some option other than continuing to live right there. That's the big deal. That's it. Okay?
Instead of
So-
all these other things that may need attending to, but first things first. Like you don't even have to end the relationship. Just find a new place to live, and then you can address that. Right?
And then when you find that place to live, you're saying to him, you're not saying I'm out of here and all that. You need to be careful about that. And you just say to him, I just feel like we've kind of drifted apart here and I'm going to move over here. I found another living situation. And then that's where you
Right. Or I'm just starting to realize that as a Christian, I don't want to live together before marriage.
There you go.
And I think
even
we're
better.
creating habits in our relationship that, are kind of backwards, right? You're acting
Oh,
like
yeah,
you're
they're-
married
they're-
before you're
they're-
married.
Right.
And it's not healthy for the
Right.
relationship.
It's not a healthy relationship right now. No.
Right. So you need to get with your best friend and say, okay, I need to brainstorm. I need to think of every option possible of a living arrangement.
Right.
Whether it's renting a room from someone, finding some kind of, different options,
Yes.
Depending,
Okay.
with your stroke, I don't know if you could be in a board and care. I don't know. But to get really creative and thinking of the options.
And
Okay.
Teresa, 211 United Way is a resource that also has links to all the different kind of services that you would need, housing included.
Okay. All right. And thank you so much.
Sister, you can do this.
Yes.
You can do this and God will be with you.
Okay, sending you, take your life back. And hold on, I'll get that to you. And I'm going to ask folks to pray for you. And I feel bad for you that for whatever reason you end up in this living together situation. It just has so many negatives to it. And I'm glad we were able to get to her phone call there. And, when you don't make your faith the priority, then it's just making it up as you go along after that. Okay? So really, really feel bad for her. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you need some help, let's go to a phone call right here. John from Rockville, Maryland. WAVA is the station. Hey, John, how are you?
Hey, you guys are awesome. Thanks so much for taking my call.
Yeah, what's going on?
Well, I've been saving up my call just to articulate it properly because I know I only get one chance at this. So it's been weeks, and I've realized today I just need to call, and I think I can put it in a way that sums it up. I became a Christian 15 years ago, and my life today in no way resembles what I anticipated from that day and from that time after that first honeymoon year. And I've basically made a wreck of it, and it's gone. I can't get that opportunity again. I can hardly live with what I've done with this time. I've had some periods of time where there was fruit, but for the most part, it just basically was a continuation of the same sort of trouble that I found myself in before I was even saved.
Hold on. We're going to get to you. I'll tell you why this is not Wheel of Fortune when we get back from this break. And you'll be happy about that, I think.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop will be held online Saturday, February 13th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship, and then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or go to newlife.com.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of 7 books, including Growth Has No Boundaries by Drs. John Townsend and Henry Cloud, Take Your Life Back by Steve Arterburn and Dr. Dave Stoop, and the Emotional Freedom Workbook. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here, and we're talking with John, who said, I only got one shot at this. Well, John, I was on Wheel of Fortune with my daughter, and here's the thing about Wheel of Fortune. Right. There, you never get to go on after you've been on one time. Never again in your whole life. You can beg, borrow, or steal. Never get to go back on. Here, you can come back. We have people that call back. Yeah. And here's another thing. The reason we're that way is because that's the way God is. And when you say you blew it or anything like that, it is never too late to turn this around, and that's why I'm really glad that you're calling. Now, here's the thing. You talked about fruit, right?
Yes, sir.
So here is something that I have learned about growing plants. If you love to grow plants because you love fruit and you love plants, you have to hate weeds enough to pull them. That's just a tough reality. You must hate the weeds and pull them. So the first thing we got to do is, what is it in your life we need to get rid of that would help you to end up having some fruit in your life? Can you think of that? Something that would be a good weed to get rid of?
That's a good word right there that you just used. That's one thing.
Weed?
If you get my drift.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep,
so I do not know a lot of people that are accomplishing great things who use the weed. And then people say, well, Steve Jobs did. No, well, but I think
no, I don't.
I think
I can be an advocate. I can state a case against it, and I do know a lot of folks who are advocates, and as a 30-plus year addict, I can absolutely say unequivocally that I would not recommend it.
Okay, so what are you going to do about it? Because if you're not going to do anything about that, you're probably not going to do anything about anything.
I've been working on it, and yes, I'm committed, and I can abstain.
But John, you're doing that. John, you're doing that by yourself, aren't you? On your own self-will and gritting it.
Part of the problem, Alice, is I also recently, through all my research, because this is a lifelong journey to figure out life, and until I met Jesus, I tried everything you can think of, and so,
But John, you're going at it. John, you're going at it on muscles that don't have the strength to do this on their own. You need other people's muscles to help.
Absolutely.
And yes.
So what are you doing, John?
I agree. Well, I'm sorry?
What are you doing to address that problem?
Well, I have an appointment with my New Life counselor tomorrow. It'll be our second appointment.
Awesome.
Now I've been in counseling many times throughout my life. There's been quite a bit of trauma, and I've concluded recently. I know for sure there's a 9 criteria list for a borderline personality disorder, and I probably have 7 or 8 of them. Okay. And the circumstances of my life are almost textbook, and it's so painful to, when I was born again, and to see that I've fallen victim over 15 years since.
Okay, but we've heard you talk about how bad you have felt about that, and I believe you do feel really bad about that. The question is, can we help you do something different, or you're just going to continue to feel badly?
Well, and I think this, if that's true, if you fall into borderline, then you tend to ideal things, and then in reality, then it flips into devaluing, right? And so you get stuck in the regret.
Pastors, friends, family, you name it.
Yeah.
One burned bridge after another. And yes, and I would try, and I'd get immersed in a culture or a church or community or a group, and then I found myself, I surrounded myself with animals to try to satiate, and because I blew it again, I had to give up all the animals, and that was another trauma, but that was a poor plan to begin with. So if I could give you a list of the craziest happenings.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We started to suggest something, that you not be doing this on your own, and then you started to give Alice an explanation about doing research and things like that. And so I'm just trying to really level with you, because why get off the phone with us if we haven't really helped you deal with some piece of the reality? And here it is. You're a really smart person, and you're aware, but I just wonder, this New Life counselor, are you really doing the work there, or are you evaluating the therapy that
and then testing?
Yeah.
Right?
And doing research on that.
I don't know.
So this is a time to not lean on your own understanding.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And to brace yourself, John, that this therapist will not be as good as you hope they will be.
Nope.
But when you start to look at them as a bad therapist, they are not as bad as you think they are either. And you probably end and walk away from relationships too quickly because you disappoint yourself and they disappoint you as well. Salvation doesn't clean up our character defects. It does assure where you go after death. But you got to get in with this therapist who will not be perfect, and you won't either, and you got to stick it out.
It is.
I've been in counseling, and of course, the previous time wasn't a Christian counselor. I know I jumped out too soon, so several years later, I went back, and in retrospect, I don't see why none of this on the part of that counselor was diagnosed or addressed. I feel like for
Most of my life I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. And just a couple of comments about John here. I want to send John this Life Recovery Bible and the general workbook there.
Okay,
But,
I have a prescription.
Okay.
So my prescription is, John, you get into recovery. You submit yourself to the process. You know, you can search around for the group you like the best, and then you stay there. You also get into therapy. I know you just started therapy, but ask your therapist about dialectical behavioral therapy. That is a great treatment with borderlines. It helps them make some traction, make better decisions for their lives. And whatever you start, you stick with. You give it a good year at least. No matter how you feel, no matter how disappointed you are, you bring that into relationship and you talk it through. And you don't lean on your own understanding.
And confess to your therapist and your recovery group, I sabotage my own treatment, and keep confessing that.
Yes.
I think that's really good advice. So I'll send you this Life Recovery Bible. And again, one of the things, this is a really smart guy, but I think he is so dependent on marijuana, and he hasn't done what it takes to get rid of that until he recovers from that, not just stop it, then a lot of stuff isn't going to fall in place. And so you've got to value recovery, not value stopping, but value the transforming process of recovery through those 12 steps. And you can understand that with a Life Recovery Bible. Speaking of value, Larry's in the studio. Larry, how are you today? What's going on?
Doing good, thank you. Want to remind people about the matching gift. We're closing in on it, so it's probably your last chance. Make a gift and have it doubled. And thank you, everybody who has been giving. I have a testimony here. A lady named Laura writes, "Since my divorce, you have helped me through the whys of how it could have happened. You have also helped me know it's okay to swallow your pride and open up to the people at my church and let them know how I am feeling deep inside. And they've allowed me to be vulnerable and not condemn me. I've been afraid in the past to allow myself to share my problems and concerns with anyone, because I was fed the lie that you don't share your problems by my now ex-husband. He always said we should be able to take care of our own problems. I've grown so much in the past year because of your program. Thank you so much. Yeah, I just, folks, I love this because we think of life transformations so often as being this great, big, dramatic event. And for this lady, it was as simple, really, as going to her church and being vulnerable and sharing with her friends issues and problems and the pain she was having. And so we
Let me just say
that.
this, that her husband was 100% correct. You don't share my problems and or our problems, and he did not want that. But here's the thing. She went to a church. She was hesitant to talk about the divorce. When she did, they were loving and accepting and non-shaming. Mm-hmm. I think it's just tragic that sometimes that could be the exception rather than the rule. And we should never, it's just sad you'd have to even hesitate to go to the place of healing because you're afraid you're going to be shamed. But I tell you, when you get a divorce, that in the Christian community, that big old red letter D can be on there. And that's what we've been fighting against. When people support us, we're fighting against those kinds of things and hoping to educate people while we're helping others transform their lives. And boy, what a great time to help us help others. Anything else you want to say, Larry?
No, I just can't say thank you enough. It's an important time of year. The amount of giving that happens in December every year is really significant. I mean, it's a big percentage of our giving that we receive. And it's not any different this year. We're a little bit wondering what the COVID year is going to be like. Mm-hmm. Still to be totally determined, but it's going well at the moment. I think that match has made a difference. But please continue to give even after the match.
Please do. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's the number, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Please call us. Let us help you. You help us with whatever support you can give. Let's go to Fred, Boston, Massachusetts, WEZE. Hi, Fred. How are you today?
Good, thank you. Hi. You took my call. Yeah. Hey, I was telling the lady who answered the phone initially. I have a nephew who's 21 years old, and he just came back from Texas, and he's living with me and my wife. He's got problems with alcohol. He lost his job down there. I believe he got involved with meth for about 4 months. His boyfriend got him into that, unfortunately.
Okay.
So he's gay also, and he's making steps though towards. My wife really put the rules down. He's in. He's working. I guess he's in the 12-step. He's doing counseling. On the computer, so he's going to that. He's going that direction, and I think he really, I think he knows he messed up. He basically was the one who pretty much packed himself up, and his sister came down, helped him, and they drove back.
So,
got out.
So how can we help you?
So
how can we help?
Well, my question is this: the one thing I'm kind of worried about is the meth. Is that 4 months? On the meth. Now, I'm not an expert on it. I mean, is that something that he can free himself of that grip? Because it seems like he's really doing pretty good here with the month that we've had him. Or is it something we should look for? Or
well, here's what I would do. I wouldn't be using him as a research project to see if he could beat the odds on staying off meth without a recovery program. I would say to him, and by the way, that you took him is just fantastic, that you're working with him, that he's got you. But I think as gently as you can, you want to say, we're here, you're here, and we kind of have some responsibility to do the right thing with you. And the right thing isn't for us to sit around and wonder if you're going to stay off meth. The right thing is for us to recommend that you do what everybody else is doing that has gotten off of meth, and that is you need to get into a recovery program and start working those steps.
It sounds like he is doing 12-step, Fred.
Yes, he is. I gave him your recovery Bible too.
Okay, good.
And he said he really liked that because it had the 12 steps in there, which was a good thing.
Okay.
And,
he's going to meetings. And he's going to meetings.
Yes, I believe he has. He said the one at the church that I particularly go to, they have it there.
Okay.
But
good.
So
he said the men were kind of old. He's older, and he's younger, obviously. But
right.
But he's got a counselor too.
He's got a counselor, and so then after he's been going to 12-step for a little bit, he needs to find a sponsor. The other thing I would throw into the mix would be an addiction specialist, MD. So a medical doctor who does addiction medicine. They can kind of evaluate and prescribe things that are deterrents to the drug use and can evaluate him medically.
Fred.
Okay, an addiction specialist, MD. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Fred, almost all addicts do. Fred, almost all addicts do relapse, whether it's from meth or alcohol or nicotine, any of it. Most people don't just get sober and stay sober. Most people go through a process of relapses and recovery again. So I want you and your wife and your nephew to prepare yourselves and safety plan for what you hope never does happen, but almost always does with addicts. For when the relapse occurs, what will you all do about it? And so allowing him in your home should be combined, if it's not yet, with drug testing, so that you can keep your home safe and help hold him accountable, because that's also incredibly difficult for addicts in recovery, is to be honest about what's truly going on.
Yeah, I think people, meth isn't getting the publicity it used to, but, I went down to Florida, Dade County, and worked with these wonderful, successful women driving BMWs, things like that. They've all been in prison because of meth. They got hooked on meth and couldn't get off of it. And then they ended up putting it together, making a little bit, and they ended up in prison. Now they're all just happy as they can be. They're in recovery. But, boy, it can really take you down a path. And you might mess around with it the first time, but then the next time it really gets you and brings you down. So not a minor thing in life to be involved with methamphetamines. We'll take a break. We'll come right back for more New Life Live.
I feel blessed to have had this opportunity for my needs to be met, connecting with other women who are fighting the same fight, hoping for healthy marriages and growing closer to the Lord on their journey.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
I feel encouraged and hopeful that even in my struggle, I am enough.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
Through the sharing in our small group, I realize that I am not alone.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is being held online Saturday, February 27th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and I hope Fred knows that, we really think he's a hero, taking in this 21-year-old and hope that they'll do everything they possibly can.
Steve, I just want to add to it that if you have an addict in your life, go to a meeting yourself. It's both eye-opening, informative, and it's very hopeful to go to a meeting. You get infused with hope when you see what is possible for the addict in your life.
Like an open meeting?
An open 12-step meeting, a speaker meeting.
Yeah, those are amazing. I love
And here's
those.
the concept. Do something and start your own recovery. Use the 12 steps as a growth program, and you will really be able to connect with the person that you're trying to help. Let's go back to the phones. Let's talk to Ann, Knoxville, Tennessee. Hello, Ann. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing so well. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. How can we mess up your day? I mean, how can we help you right now?
I don't think you can, but on a program probably 2 years ago, you used a term about the metabolism of tears. And I was really, do you remember that?
Well, no. But I'm going to believe you for it, and it struck a chord with you. Is that right?
Yes, I'll tell you why I'm curious about it. I grew up in a really tumultuous family situation and a lot of reason to cry, but I had a mother who really shut the dam down. So I had to let the tears kind of like roll down the back of my eyes and not reveal any of that. And that started like age 4. And I developed insomnia and so forth. But I had a psychiatrist in the 1980s. I asked him once, where do all the uncried tears go? And he said they are stored in muscle tissue, which that was an interesting idea, but that was kind of the end of the discussion. And so I just kind of wonder, what does happen when we don't shed our tears?
There are biotoxins in tears that through God's design are released and we're cleansed with a good cry. So when we're taught, like you were, Ann, not to cry, those biotoxins stay inside of us and they have some of those psychosomatic effects like insomnia, anxiety, depression, because the release we're supposed to have does not happen. God made this process to clean us out emotionally and spiritually, and it's just a crime that so many people are taught, like you, not to cry. I was with a group of women recently, 8 women. Every single woman said the same thing. I was told not to cry. I was even berated for my tears. What a disservice we do to our children when we stop their tears.
Yeah, and in the way you said it, that your mother put a dam up to the tears. Is that right?
Yep, she did.
Other people have been raised by dam parents, and that dam up the tears and the emotions, and they just stop all of the things that would be healthy for us. They said, no, that's not it. And it's so sad, and I really feel for you that you had that kind of mom. Now, let me ask you this. What were all the tears about back then?
Well, I was the youngest of 4 children, and my grandmother thought she would give me a leg up and send me to private school starting at age 4. And the school she sent me to, unbeknownst to her, was a very cruel place. And so I went there in terror every day. And I was, separated from my siblings because they were all in public school. So I grew up in a whole different world from them, and I also already felt like an alien because I was the only girl, and my mother didn't like girls.
Oh, dear. Oh. Horrible.
Yeah,
horrible.
Yeah,
so
that's
sorry.
Pretty horrible. And so she also she just didn't know how to nurture. She didn't put meals on the table. She would stay in bed until I left for school, so I would, make my own breakfast and try to make myself a lunch, which wasn't always successful. So I was really very malnourished, although I'm going to private school, in uniform with all the other kids, but my uniform was always, wrinkly, and my shoes were scuffed, and all the other girls looked, very well put together. So I just kind of looked and felt like an orphan, and I always felt like an orphan.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You're talking to us. You had a horrible experience as a child. What was one of the most helpful things that happened to you or that you did to get over that whole experience early in life?
Okay, well, first I became a junkie of self-help books. That wasn't so helpful. That was just a lot of head stuff, and one head thing coming against all the damage, and it wasn't enough. It was really, I did not become a believer until I was on the brink of divorce, really age 46. And so understanding that there are divine tools available and that we are unconditionally loved by our Heavenly Father, and that He says, even if your mother and father abandon you, I will not. And so that understanding was a lot of my healing.
That's so great. I love that. I'm very happy. Now, is there anything other than to affirm the fact that tears have this makeup? Is there anything else we could do?
Because even your question is kind of rather non-emotional. You're asking more technically about tears.
Yeah, I'm asking you a scientific question.
Yes.
But I've just always wondered, because there is a lot of energy in tears, and if that is all squelched, I just wonder, okay, what is that doing in the body? And, is it stored in muscle tissue, as the psychiatrist told me, or, do we even know?
Well, but I think the real question is, do you allow yourself to cry now?
Yes, I do, but not nearly enough.
Okay, and we often need people to cry with. And
I live alone. I have dogs. That's what I have.
Okay,
I don't have.
Well, cry with your dogs. Do you have friends? Do you have anybody that you can share your tears with when you're sad?
Yes, I do.
Okay, girlfriends are great that way.
Yes.
And I think Jesus wants to make this knowledge you have so much more real to you on a heart level, that He wants to minister to that little girl inside of you who was so alone and so overlooked. And He wants to come right up to you, wrap you up in His arms, and let you cry all those unshed tears with Him. And that will happen through telling these sad, scary stories to friends, to a therapist, and letting them be Jesus's hands and feet to you.
Well, I'm so glad that you called, and I hope we said something helpful. I'm going to send you Healing is a Choice, and I hope that is going to be something that will continue to help you heal. Healing, trying to heal by yourself, on your own, is a really difficult road to healing. And when we can connect with other people and share and be open and experience some compassion through them from God, it really does help. Now, one of the greatest places to get that is starting with a counselor. You're kind of practicing developing a relationship with that counselor, and then that transfers over into your ability to be relational with other people. I'm glad you joined us. As Larry said, we've got a little money left on the match. We're coming toward the end of the year. So much of what we are going to do next year depends on what happens at the end of the year. Please help us if you can. The number is 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But let us help you too. That's the same number, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Dr. Jill Hubbard, thank you. She's the author of Forgiving Our Mothers and Fathers and Mothers. And Dr. Alice Benton, thank you for being here. Thanks for all of you who listen, watch, pray. We appreciate you. See you next time.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.